I'm excited to see how A.J. Brown's going to do tonight. Will he put up 80 fantasy points? I'm excited to see how Josh Allen is going to do tonight. I currently have him ranked number 3 on my MVP power rankings. Russell Wilson's number 1, Aaron Rodgers number 2. I'm excited for Tuesday night football. What channel is it on, by the way? A lot of craziness going on this year for sure, but I'm here to mitigate some of that craziness and help you win your leagues. Here are my fantasy football waiver wire pickups for week 6. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. There are 4 teams on bye this week. Make sure you double check the NFL schedules. Some platforms are a bit behind showing the old schedule. Some are up to date, so double check the schedules. Currently, NFL.com has the updated schedules and bye week, so these are the actual real teams on bye. That's why I'm making this so important, because you can plan ahead, and I like planning ahead, and that whole plan could be ruined when you're streaming a defense or quarterback or something, or in some cases you can plan way ahead, do something stupid, and then it can work out. So just keep in mind that the schedule is constantly changing. A lot of things are in flux. The Seahawks, the Chargers, the Saints, and Raiders are the 4 teams on bye week 6. This is subject to change at any time, though. I'm recording this Tuesday afternoon. Quarterbacks to pick up. Really, don't worry too much about the number, the ranking on these. Just get the one that fits your needs the best. Because a lot of people playing in one quarterback leagues are pretty much set at quarterback. Okay, now, I have an exhaustive long list, and I'm trying to help out all the teams that do have Dak Prescott. We have Dak in our Throne League, the league where we drafted all as a community together. But just keep that in mind. Some are short-term, some are streamers. Justin Herbert could be ranked number 1 on this list, but he's on bye this week, so I'm not going to rank him number 1, and it's going to basically be like, hey, start this guy this week. He's actually on bye, but then you can start him after that. He has some great matchups, and he's been pretty incredible. And Keenan Allen got hurt, but doesn't seem like that's going to be a long-term injury. He should be back real soon. Has a bye week to rest up as well. So number 1 is definitely Matthew Stafford, probably already rostered in your league, but because he just had a bye week, the Lions and Packers were on bye, a lot of people dropped him, so he might be available. On top of that, some sweet matchups. Jaguars are a horrible team, but their offense puts up some points here and there, so it's usually not a super low scoring game or anything like that. And then you're going against the Falcons, which is always great for any offensive player in fantasy, whether you got the running back going against the Falcons, a wide receiver, quarterback. It seems like everyone balls out against the Falcons. They just fired their coach and GM, by the way. Gardner Minshew, I'm always going to be high on him because of those rushing yards. He'll put up 2-3 passing touchdowns. Sure, he'll perform well, but then you get those rushing yards, so that's a nice floor. As long as DJ Chark is there, whether he's throwing to him or he's just getting the attention of the opposing team's defense, Gardner Minshew's always solid as long as Chark is suiting up and in that lineup. Ryan Fitzpatrick, another great ad. It's, he's always crazy. You don't quite know what you're going to get out of him, but more times than not, he's putting up fantasy points, playing really hard for your fantasy team. Andy Dalton looked great as a backup. Could be the best backup quarterback in the NFL. Going up against the Cardinals, I'm going to kind of highlight a couple players that I think are just really sexy pickups, and Andy Dalton is one of them. I've stressed in the first waiver video this year to all commissioners or to all people to go to their commissioners and make a strong case to making the league an FAB league where you have a silent auction every week and you bid on waiver ads. And I think Andy Dalton is going to be the perfect $0 bid or minimum bid. You know, sometimes you have to bid $1 for Dak owners, because I don't think a lot of people are going to be rushing to get him unless you are a Dak owner. And this week is a great streaming option. Look, you add him. I'd be very confident in starting him against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a fast-paced team. The Cowboys have a horrible defense. That all equals a lot of fantasy points for guys like Dalton, CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, Cooper, maybe even Dalton Schultz, definitely Zeke. Just so many fantasy points here this game. And then we get to see if Andy Dalton is the real deal. You know, you don't have to start him, but you can do both. Like, I mean, I could start dang near any quarterback against the Cardinals. Teddy Bridgewater, not the best ad this week going against the Bears, but a great long-term ad. I mean, a lot of these guys were on the list last week. Kirk Cousins, don't believe in him. Don't like the Vikings too much. But Dalvin Cook probably going to be out week 6, and they have a bye week. So Dalvin Cook's going to rest up 2 weeks, and then he'll very likely return after the bye week. So that would be week 8. Dalvin Cook would return. I mean, Dalvin Cook not a big factor in this, but still, you know, their star player, their star running back is likely out, and they're going against the Falcons secondary. So a great streaming option. I probably trust Andy Dalton more, as in he has a higher floor, but Kirk Cousins could absolutely ball out this week going against ATL. Justin Herbert, we talked about, excellent low-end QB1 going forward. Just, you know, pretty good upside, pretty good floor too. They seem to throw the ball a good amount, and he's pretty athletic, so he can get you a couple rushing yards here and there. Ryan Tannehill, he's okay. I mean, rushing yards are there, you know, might get you 20 rushing yards, and good matchup against the Texans. Then we have Nick Foles, Drew Lock, that I don't know what's going on with the Broncos and Panthers, and there's just a lot of injuries and messiness there, postponements. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, not a great matchup. Derek Carr, who's on bye. Jimmy Garoppolo is, he's on a team that's having quite the Super Bowl hangover. I guess that's one way to put it. For running backs, Chase Edmonds, go ahead and rank him a spot or two lower if you're in non-PPR or maybe half PPR. The reason I don't have Madison or Justin Jackson ranked higher is simply because it's more of a short-term ad, and I'm not saying don't put in the claim for them and avoid Chase Edmonds. I'm not saying that at all. I just got to rank them, and that's why I ranked Chase Edmonds higher. If you're in full PPR, if you want more of a long-term ad, Chase Edmonds is your guy. If you need a short-term ad, then go with Jackson or Madison for sure. Now, it is quite the sadness for me that I got Joshua Kelly as one of my biggest sleepers this year. Austin Eckler gets hurt, suffers a significant injury, is out several weeks, and Josh Kelly sucks. What is going on? Justin Jackson looked a little bit better. He looked like a very natural pass catcher. It was almost, it wasn't really a 50-50 split. It was, I guess, kind of close. As far as carries goes, I guess it was close to 50-50. But Justin Jackson outsnapped Kelly by quite a bit. And so this is going to suck. It's going to probably be split carries going forward. I think Kelly could do a lot better. I think he's a very talented, just is in a slight slump, and he should bounce back. But at the same time, Justin Jackson's not going anywhere. Justin Jackson did deserve to have a significant role, and if I had to pick one over the other right now, I would pick Justin Jackson over Joshua Kelly. I mean, how couldn't I? But maybe they'll go with the hot hand. Who knows? Maybe this will change after next week. But as of right now, Jackson is the RB to own for the Chargers. Dalvin Cook, we already mentioned, probably going to be out this week, week 6, then a week 7 bye week, if that doesn't change. And then Dalvin Cook will be back. Still, Madison should have been owned in every league anyway. Here's the guy. Here's the guy right here, Jamal Williams. You can probably get him for $0 FAB, maybe even be able to get him off free agency. Okay, now he's not great. He's not the sexy pickup at all, but he is an RB3 in fantasy. What does that mean? That means you can start him at flex if you need to. He's there for emergencies. Also, he already had his bye week, but he's not going to be your RB3. He's not going to be a league winner. You're going to get him. He's RB3. He's going to be your RB5, though, because I'm sure you already have 4 or 5 running backs. So it's a good ad, and you can get him for free. Now, on top of that, if Aaron Jones gets hurt, what's the chance Aaron Jones gets hurt? Well, it's 50-50. There's a 50% chance just about any player is going to get injured and miss at least one full game. Those are the stats. We gathered it up. Everyone's 50-50. Just look at all the injuries that has happened. I know it seems more injuries this year, but every year, a lot of injuries do happen. Especially at the running back position, especially at wide receiver. And so you have that added upside to it. If something were to happen to Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams no longer an RB3, he'll go right up there and be an RB1 instantly. In that offense, with that quarterback, with that coach, that system, instantly. Yeah, he'll be splitting, but he's splitting now and he's at RB3. Aaron Jones is splitting a lot of work and he's an elite running back. So that's the system he's in. That's the team he's on. They use their running backs a lot. Darrell Henderson, this is a sell high. Look, I actually believe in him. I think he'll do well, but things change week to week. Darrell Henderson is definitely the guy where you bench him and he does great, and you start him and he does horrible, and that's what's happened the past 3 weeks. And so, you just can't trust him, and that's why I do have Malcolm Brown as number 7 on this list, because I know Malcolm Brown's going to get a lot of snaps. He's going to get a lot of carries. I'm sure Darrell Henderson's going to get a lot, and Cam Akers is probably the odd man out, but who knows what could happen later on this season. Maybe Cam Akers has a game where he catches like 9 or 10 balls, and that's incredible for PPR leagues. Sony Michel, he's on IR. Have no clue when he's going to return. Tony Pollard, I think, is a good handcuff. Even though Zeke is the most durable, dependable running back, still, why not, have a handcuff? Even if you don't have Zeke, actually, Tony Pollard's probably better if you don't have Zeke. If you just have room on your bench, go add one of these running backs with upside like Jamal Williams or Pollard. Once you know the starting running back gets hurt, boom, you got yourself a top 10 running back. Case of Pollard, probably top 5. That's how crazy that upside is if something were to happen to Zeke. Phillip Lindsay, not a ton of upside there. Dearness Johnson, the backup running back, is RB2 for the Browns. Clear-cut RB2 for the Browns. J.D. McKissick is getting some snaps. We're getting into poop territory here. Deep league poop territory. And Anthony McFarland, I still like him as a stash, but that's about it. He's just a stash if something were to happen to Connor. For wide receivers, I do believe in Chase Claypool. I always did. I had him as a huge sleeper. I have him in all my dynasty leagues. One dynasty league, I drafted him. The other dynasty league, I traded a lot to go get him. And that's just how much faith I have in him, because it's not his floor. His floor was never I wasn't intrigued by his floor. With Deontay Johnson, his teammate, that's a good floor guy. He's a really good wide receiver. You can depend on him as long as he's healthy. Chase Claypool's upside it's not there. He has no ceiling. It's all the way past the roof, past the sky, past outer space. It's going up, up, up. He could be the next NFL star, and already, he's making that. And I'm saying this stuff now. I've said it before on video. I've said the same thing on videos before. That's how much I always believed in his upside. That being said, I'm down to splurge some FAB on him. It's all of when you get a wide receiver, why get some crappy wide receiver that you're not going to start? Those are the type of players that actually destroy your fantasy team. That's how you finish 6th place. When you get a wide receiver, go for upside. Go for broke. Last year, I drafted N'Keal Harry early. I looked stupid. I mean, it's fine. I went for upside, though. I take those risks because right next to N'Keal Harry, I also drafted DK Metcalf around the same round. Actually helped win a lot of my leagues, helped me go to the Super Bowl. And so those are the type of risks you want to take. Why get a boring guy who's always hurt, who has a low ceiling? Like, there's just no point in a deep position. Go get a guy, draft him later, or get him off waivers that has a lot of upside. Big playability, can score touchdowns, whatever. It could be a target monster, but it's usually about big plays and touchdowns when you talk about upside for wide receivers. But in Travis Fulgham's case, the Eagles wide receiver, I guess it's about targets. 13 targets, 10 receptions. He got a TD this past week. And then the week before, he did really good against the Niners. There could be something here. I mean, talk about a guy who really deserves to climb up the depth chart and be a starter, even with Deshaun Jackson and Alshon coming back really soon, if and when that happens, and if they don't get hurt right away again, knowing the Eagles' luck. Anyways, Fulgham, I wouldn't spend too much FAB on him, but he's probably worth more than $0 or $1. So for Chase Claypool, we're talking about FAB, you spend about a third of your starting FAB budget, you'll probably get him, have a really good chance to get him. I'd say about well over 50%. I'd say close to 70% chance to get him. Now, if you really want to secure him but not spend all your FAB, I think you spend 53% of your FAB, you're pretty much a lock to get Chase Claypool. Now, still, it's like, I'd say about 80 to 90% chance you'll get him with that FAB. There's going to always be a couple people who just splurge and go all in on Claypool. And so, yeah, honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you did, because you're going for that upside. Good thing we Couch Fam guys drafted him like in all our leagues, right? You guys listened to me, hopefully. And then Mecole Hardman, excellent pickup right here with Sammy Watkins hurt. Sammy Watkins going to miss some time. Christian Kirk, sneaky pickup. He's actually been pretty good. When teams start to focus on Hopkins, Christian Kirk is going to be the man. Has single coverage against the worst corner. I love Kirk moving forward, and he's still improving. I bet Hopkins is teaching him a thing or two. Tyler Johnson, rookie wide receiver for the Bucks. Actually, let's rank this guy lower. This was a mistake. This is not supposed to be this high at all. There we go. Mistake has been fixed. Okay, so I like Tyler Johnson, but not that much. Mike Williams, pretty much a must-add. Laviska, pretty much a must-add. Also, on top of getting more and more targets and looking really good in the pass game, he also has 9 carries this year, so he can do it more than one way. Welcome to the most inconsistent fantasy player this year, guys. Brandon Cooks put up 30 fantasy points last week. This past week, I don't know what the heck's going on. The week before is like 3 fantasy points or 0, and then he's up and down. 1 week he does bad, 1 week he does good, 2 weeks he does bad, and then 1 week he does great, making up for the past 2 weeks. But unfortunately, a lot of people benched, probably a third of people benched Brandon Cooks. Here's my premier pickup this week. It's Marquez Valdes-Scantling. A lot of Packers I'm talking about. It's right. Sometimes it's right in our faces, guys, and we don't recognize that you can get a player for free. And it's right there. MVS, 8 targets week 4. He's not a good wide receiver 1. He's not going to, in real life, he's not going to be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy. But when Adams is back, Lazard is out, look for MVS to get a couple wide open looks. There's one guy who can give him the ball. Of course, he'll drop it a couple times here and there. He's not that great, but he can run. He's a deep threat. Aaron Rodgers scrambles, throws it 40 yards. Every now and then, MVS is going to catch it. And there's a reason why I like MVS, and I don't trust Henry Ruggs as much. Because Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball to MVS, right? That's why. I trust MVS a lot. Now, yeah, I do like, don't get me wrong, I do like Henry Ruggs' talent, but he's going to be so inconsistent. I just feel like MVS, you get him for free. He's not the sexy pick. Everyone's down on him right now. Don't spend too much FAB on him. Put in a $0 bid. Don't even put in a claim. Just get him as a free agent. Then we have N'Keal Harry, Damiere Byrd, who is the deep threat for the Patriots. It's not looking good. Tyler Johnson, rookie wide receiver for the Bucks. Henry Ruggs, actually we should put Tyler Johnson actually right around here as a stash. Okay, there we go. We're fixing it. It's looking better. Tim Patrick, Broncos wide receiver. Preston Williams, is he back? I don't quite know. Cole Beasley, super underrated. Then we got Tyler Johnson at 16. Whatever. You guys know whatever. Then we have Tyler Johnson. Demarcus Robinson, who's going to get a lot more targets now that Sammy Watkins is injured. Curtis Samuel, Greg Ward, and Titans wide receiver Khalif Raymond. Humphreys maybe out. Corey Davis maybe out. Then you wide receivers. A.J. Brown maybe 100%. I don't know what's going on anymore in the NFL. It's crazy. Tight ends, not a lot of good ones to add. It's basically over. You should be so freaking thankful if Austin Hooper is available in your league. Not because I love him, not because he's great, but please don't complain to me. If you got Austin Hooper on waivers, don't complain. Be thankful he's there. Be thankful Jimmy Graham is there. Heck, be thankful Braid is there. Pass catching tight end for the Bucks. He got 6 targets. Now, we don't know who Brady's throwing. Other than Mike Evans, we don't know who Brady's throwing to. But still, Hudson only got 4 targets. Gronk only got 6, and Brate got 6. We know Brate can do it. We know he can catch. We know he can catch touchdowns. And Brady's been throwing to him. Irv Smith, more of a dynasty guy, more of a stash. Got about 5 targets, I think, last week. Trey Burton's the pass-catching tight end for the Colts. That team sucks. Eric Ebron, I hate Eric Ebron in fantasy. He only had 1 good year, and that was with Andrew Luck, who makes tight end magic happen. And we have Logan Thomas, who sucks. So really not a lot of tight ends. 1 and 2 is okay. High-end tight end 2. Maybe Jimmy Graham's a low-end tight end 1. We'll see. Now, actually, I do like, don't get me wrong about Austin Hooper. I do like him. I think he's getting much more acclimated with the offense. They're featuring him a lot more, and he'll have a good role and look good moving forward. The problem with him is that this is a run-first team, and Jarvis and Odell are there. So there's going to be some weeks where it's like, you know, he's going to get 2 or 3 or 4 targets. That's it. So he's going to have to get in the end zone for you. He's not a huge deep threat or anything crazy like that. So yeah, just like most tight ends, he will be touchdown reliant. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully one of these top 3 are available in your league if you're super desperate for a tight end. For defenses, lots of craziness, lots of good streaming options. And in case you don't get my theme of what I've been doing, which I didn't make clear, so that's partially my fault. I've only made it clear when I'm answering specific questions one-on-one on social media. Anyway, I like to pick up defenses ahead of time. So not just looking at the Dolphins playing the Jets, and that's one that I actually picked up the Dolphins in one league and wanting to start them several weeks later. And now I get to, so I just completely lucked out. I started them this week because sometimes I believe defenses are hard to predict. Started them this week, got completely lucky. I didn't even like them that much against the Niners. Like, I saw that they had some upside, but I got lucky. And now I'm going to get even more lucky and be able to start them week 6. They must start week 6 going against the Jets. So look ahead. Look at teams like the Chargers. Look at teams like the Chiefs. Who just had, you can get them for free, right? They're going to be dropped. And you can start them week 8. They're a must start against the Jets. Look at all the teams playing the Giants and Jets, teams like that. So they play the Jets week 8. But week 7, if the Broncos are not fully healthy, look, they have so much bad luck. They might suffer another major injury or something. Week 7, they're not a bad start. Week 8 at home, they're definitely a must start against the Jets. So look forward. Colts, best defense in the league. Or you got the Colts, Ravens. They're really good. I'm talking about fantasy-wise, sorry. Steelers, those guys are elite. And they're going up against the Bengals. With the type of QB pressures they get, it should be really easy to get to Burrow. And even if they don't get him, it's all about pressures. He'll make some mistakes if you get close to him and pressure him and make him move and get him flustered. Which I'm really not blaming Burrow, man. The offensive line is not good. They should have a field day against the Bengals. Dolphins playing the Jets. Patriots D should be okay, even with Locke healthy and back if he is. If not, give the Patriots D a boost. And then it's all wishy-washy after that. But also, the Chargers D is a you could pick them up, get the Chargers D for free. They're on bye, right? And then you'll be able to start them after their bye week. Just kind of like Herbert, right? Herbert might be available in your league. Might get dropped. Probably not, but, you get them for free. Stash them. Start them later. Great matchups for the Chargers D going forward. But after the Patriots D gets all wishy-washy, Panthers going against the Bears. Bears in that same game. Giants D, Chargers D for later. Bills D. Adam now, week 7, they play the Jets. And look, if you don't have a good defense, do what I did. Just start them week 6 if you have to, right? If you have to start them, you start them. Like, it's not a big deal. I did that with the Dolphins. Like, there was no good defenses available. The Cardinals weren't available. The Ravens weren't available. I just started the Dolphins D. Like, who cares? And they got me some points. This stuff's hard to predict. So you got the Bills D and you got to start them. And there's no better defenses. Who cares? But you got yourself a great defense for week 7. We're trying to win each week, but when you can't predict something, it don't matter. Go for the long-term win. You got to weigh it out. Hopefully that made some kind of sense to you guys. It makes sense up here for me. Hopefully that made sense. Broncos D, maybe Cam Newton is out. Washington D going against the Giants. And we talked about the Chiefs D as a long-term ad. And in super deep leagues, if you absolutely have to, Titans D going against the Texans. Maybe they'll start gelling a little bit more week 6. I haven't watched the Tuesday night football game yet. It hasn't aired yet. So let's see what's going to happen. Titans do have some players. They just got to get more healthy, gel a little bit more. Texans O-line, not so good. So some things might happen. Some good things might happen for the Titans D. For kickers, these top 2 are super elite. And, actually, Gostkowski and Sanders are pretty good, too. Gonzalez is good. Yeah, we have a lot of good kickers. So if you can get Blankenship, the Colts rookie kicker, or Matt Prater, go get him. Prater a little bit more on the short-term side. Rodrigo Blankenship, incredible short-term and really good long-term as well. Kind of the perfect storm for a kicker, because you got Phillip Rivers. If he doesn't turn the ball over as much and plays a little bit more efficient, it's great for your kicker. And they got a good defense. Colts overall a decent team, and that's exactly what we want out of our kicker. In this matchup, it can get much sweeter against the Bengals. Matt Prater going against the Jags, amazing matchup. Matt Prater is a talented kicker. Gostkowski going against the Texans, upside is definitely there. And then Jason Sanders, I don't know. I don't think I've had this guy on this list too many times, guys. But the Dolphins, not a horrible team. Going against the worst team, New York Jets, baby. They're going to have a lead. They're going to move the ball. They can actually run a little bit now with Myles Gaskin. And Ryan Fitzmagic is doing some things. And their backup's pretty good, too, in case they need to start Tua. So everything just aligns right there for Jason Sanders to have a huge game against the Jets. Whether he's kicking extra points or field goals, that's tough to predict. What we can predict is they're going to get in the red zone. They're going to get within field goal range a lot of the time, often, most drives. That's what we believe. Zane Gonzalez, another good start this week. He didn't do as well last week, but that was more so because Cardinals scored touchdowns. But he did okay. Yeah, but another good matchup against the Cowboys. Tyler Bass, I do believe in this guy long term. Not the best start right now per se, but I think in the long run he's going to be kicking more field goals and get you more fantasy points. He does have a good floor, and what does that even mean for a kicker? But you guys know me, I love kickers. And in deeper leagues, we got Mason Crosby, Suckup, Dan Bailey, Chris Boswell, and Yun Wei Koo. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Also hit that bell icon so you don't miss awesome videos and live streams. Let's do the same for our second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch. This video is a little bit longer, but I really wanted to help you guys out on the waivers with some detailed ads. Smash a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Good luck this week, everyone in fantasy. Peace.